Welcome back to No Chill with Gilbert Arenas. We got a very special guest today. He was a 7th round pick out of Kent State in 2009 by the Patriots. One of the few white quarterbacks to ever get moved to wide receiver. One of the few, the proud, the strong. 3-time Super Bowl champ, Super Bowl 53 MVP. Now you can catch him co-hosting the award-winning Inside the NFL. He's also got his own podcast, Games with Names. Julian Edelman, we appreciate you
Thanks
pulling
for
up.
having me.
Yeah.
Gilly.
So now it's usually a basketball show, but we had to make a special exception for a legend like yourself. But got to know, like, what was your hoop career like? Did you play at all?
Yeah, I played a bunch of AAU when I was like 12 to like 15 for the Metro Mirage. Shout out over there in NorCal. But I was always just the athletic kid. I was a football player playing basketball. You know, athletic, great defense, could get to the hoop, but, you know, it wasn't like natural to me. I wasn't like, I couldn't just see things like when you watch the game and the guy cuts or like, it was never a natural game to me. I was just more athletic than everyone.
What's so funny is I tell like parents from like 10 to like 13, put your kid in football first because the football players has a big advantage over basketball players because they're faster. They always has their fast twitch muscles. They're more explosive and they actually know how to hit holes.
Yeah.
Right. So when you're just watching kids, you can see like, okay, he's a football player.
Yeah.
you can spot it quick.
100%. You know, like when we go play, you know, pick up basketball in college, you know, the football team would go out there and we'd be playing hoops, recreational hoops, and you know, you can always spot the football guys because they're fouling and don't know how to play the game. You know, it was fun, man. I enjoyed basketball, but didn't have it in me.
The funny shit about, like, because I went to UCLA, so those dudes would come out like Freddie Mitchell of the world, Drew Bennett, windmilling, doing all this crazy shit, but none of them knew how to land. Like their coordination was always off. So they do, you know, 40-something plus inch vert, hit you with a windmill, but then flop over like fall trying to land on 2 feet.
That muscle. Too much muscle. Muscle don't fly.
So you're a big Celtics fan, right? You were at Game 7, the Sixers series.
Yeah.
I think you put up, what, $11,000 bet after they tied the Eastern Conference Finals.
Unfortunately. No, that was a future from like 3 months ago, 2 months ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're headed again. So when you look at the Celtics squad now, what do they need to do to follow that same championship pedigree that you guys had with the Patriots?
They got, you know, I know those guys very well. The crazy thing is, when I was on vacation for the first 4 games, if you guys remember, I was suspended. I went to the Celtics facility. So they like welcomed me in. They had a locker. They let me do my rehab. I was rehabbing for my knee at the time, and gained a lot of great relationships there. So I love them to death, but you know, it just they gotta come together and play a little more with a little more dog in them. You know what I mean? Like it just seemed like when they needed a basket to win a game or something, like you need a killer in there. Like it just wasn't there this year. I don't know. They may need another offensive guy. Like I said, I don't know basketball. Those guys, you guys, that's
you said it right.
But you know sports.
No, you said it right. You said it right.
You know, it just seemed like, you know, Tatum had an insane Game 7, whatever, couple series back. Like then he gets hurt in the second play of the game, and like then he was just kind of washed out, and it just. It's Game 7. It almost seemed like the urgency wasn't there for them. You know, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes right now, but whatever it was, man, it just didn't look right. You know, they gotta do something though.
Yeah, no.
Because they have the players. I mean,
but that's
you got 2 superstars, Jalen and Tatum. Those guys are studs. You know, I like Marcus Smart. I mean, he plays hard. He's really good at defense. You got a bunch of good role players, but it just seemed like when they needed a bucket, no one came out.
Yeah, the problem with them is their role players are now starters.
Yeah.
They need like 1 more guy or 2 more guys that are actual factors. Their offense is stagnant, meaning, you know, if it's on one side, you know, Tatum is playing one-on-one, everyone's standing. If Jalen has it, everyone's standing. They never play two-man game.
Yeah.
So they're never playing like off the pinch post where they're forcing people to switch so they can take an advantage of it. Usually it's just one-on-one, one's going against 5, right? In the playoffs, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Right? You can't. You have to have movement. And, when I just watched the film, I'm like, you guys are just standing. You're the easiest team to guard.
Yeah.
I'm just going to load up. You're going to take some step back 3. If you're going to do that for, the whole game, I'm content with that.
Are we good with the coach? Is the coach because you hear the Boston media, everyone's like, coach's got to go. This guy, we got 4 coaches in the last 4 years. This coach? Is he the guy?
It seems like the players, it's players coaches. So if the players like him, then he's good. But from there, you need real, actual players.
Yeah.
Right, the grinded out players. That works until you play against teams that grinded out more than you, or their team knows how to play better, right? Just with them, you have 2 superstars and, players that know their roles, but you need movement. You need to have movement in the game. If not, it's like running the same play every single time, right? If I know, all right, this receiver doesn't run hard when he doesn't have the ball, all we do is just look at him first 2 steps. All right, it's over here.
Yeah.
Like it's easier to read if you're not if you're not doing your part.
That's one thing I did. It didn't look like they had particularly like an offense in play going, like you said, it was a lot of like one-on-one basketball, everyone clear out. Let's see, if he can make someone win in a one-on-one, so it just didn't have any, I didn't feel like there was continuity.
Feel. Didn't have the Boston feel.
Didn't have the Boston feel.
Like when you look at like the Larry Birds and how like one has it, one's cutting, one's slashing. Even with Paul Pierce, Kevin, KG, Rondo and them, everyone moved.
Ray Allen.
Yeah.
I know that they're fighting.
They're kind of friends.
I think they made up
I don't want to say anything. KG might beat me up, dude.
they're kind of. I think they're kind of friends now, but it's always about movement. When you look at the teams that make it, they always have movement into their offense.
Yeah.
Did you ever deal with KG at all during your time in Boston? Like, what was he like?
Nah, I've kicked it with I kicked it with Paul Pierce a bunch.
Okay.
I mean, you guys remember I got arrested for hood sliding on a car? You guys remember that? It was with me and Paul Pierce. We were hanging out. Too much tequila.
Was hood sliding on a police car?
Nah.
Just a random car?
Yeah, we were. So there was a robbery. There was a robbery we were at Frida in Beverly Hills watching some football. We got eliminated early that year, and they made us stay in the restaurant. So we were there for like 3.5 hours, and I see Paul, and we just start taking down a bunch of tequila. We were talking about Starsky and Hutch because there was a bunch of cops that weren't letting anyone out. And as soon as they let us out, we were walking by a parking garage, and a car rolled up, and me being an idiot, I did like a little hood slide on it. Didn't really get a good hood slide. It was a little precipitation in the air, and I was wearing jeans, so I kind of like stuck. If I would have hood slid, I think it would have been good. But the guy gets out of the car, waves down a cop. Cops come up and hand me up like, "Yo, what
Beverly
for
Hills,
a hood
bro.
slide? For a hood slide."
But Beverly Hills and you with Paul Pierce, that's not,
Yeah.
The hood
Thanks, Paul.
slide?
Thanks, Paul.
So I was going to ask who was the bad influence there, but it seems like y'all were both bad
No,
influence.
it was fun. It was all
tequila.
good, and ended up paying the guy for nothing. But yeah, we're good.
You're a basketball fan, so when you look around the league, who would you say is the NBA version of yourself?
I hate playing that game, but I'll tell you who I do like. Jimmy Butler, I love his mental toughness, and he may not even be playing a great game, but at the end of the game, when the team needs a steal, team needs a shot, team needs something, he goes and sinks the 3 free throws when the team needed it. I'm a big fan of him.
Okay.
I think he's a stud. For whatever they do this series, I mean, it's just a great story because, I mean, they don't have any superstars and they're winning. You know what I mean? But they got that dog.
Yeah. What's funny is it's when you look at the last 5 minutes of games, his stat line is amazing.
Yeah.
Like no matter what he's doing the rest of the game,
Yeah.
He's gonna have 3 buckets, 2 free throws, 2 steals, 4 rebounds, and you're like, Jesus Christ! It's like that last 5 minutes he's putting in a lot of production.
Now you guys have heard the rumors, right? Is Michael his dad?
Yeah, no, that's just bad.
Exactly.
When someone,
I've seen it on social. It's everywhere. Because I mean, he has a little of that killer instinct in him.
No. He has that MJ gene in him, but
the last couple of minutes he does. Like,
I mean, that'd be crazy. It'd be a hell of a story.
It would
I want the rights. I want to make that movie.
just should make it anyway. That's hey. But Boston is a sports town, right? Used to winning chips. But I want to know, and we talk about all this all the time as hoopers, like between Patriots, Red Sox, Bruins, and Celtics, who gets the most love from fans? Like if y'all are out on the town, who's getting the nicest table at the club and who's kind of getting pushed to the side?
Well, it depends on who's winning.
Okay.
You know, I mean, we all have a really good relationship. I never had trouble getting a table or getting a restaurant or getting anywhere. And, you know, usually you would see the other guys as well. So, I mean, there was never really like a rivalry between the guys. It was kind of more like a brotherhood.
Okay.
You know, everyone out, like when I was there, I mean, I saw the Red Sox win a World Series. The Bruins won a championship. The Celtics won a championship. Like, everyone was winning. So everyone's loved.
Jesus Christ. Ooh.
It's crazy, huh? I've been to all games.
So if you guys are what I'm saying, if you guys are all bad, who has like the edge?
If we're all bad?
If you're all bad. Is it Boston? I mean, is it Celtics because of all the championships back in the day?
Yeah, but does anybody care about that nowadays? That's like the
That's
old,
what I'm saying.
old
Like,
dude in the club.
I mean, usually football is all because they have just a bigger fan base.
Well, you know, we're the New England Patriots. So, like, we hit, like, 5 regions. We hit, like, Vermont. We get Providence or Rhode Island, New Hampshire.
So y'all are bigger.
I don't know. No, I don't think we're big.
They're not the New England Celtics, though, so I feel it.
It's a tough one. If we're all
Boston.
I don't know. The Red Sox and the Celtics, they're in the city, and you know the Bruins. That's kind of like they're like kind of like a cult following with hockey. You know, I mean, but it's a huge hockey town. I would have to give it to you the Sox or the Celtics, low key.
Damn.
You know, I mean, like the Patriots. I mean, unless it's like Brady. You know, Brady rolls in.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, like if you take all the stars, right, and then like they had to walk. I guess it is Brady.
It's got to be Brady.
Well, you think about just one. I mean, unless you're trying to pull Bird or something, but yeah,
they're not
Brady.
But then you get recency bias.
Yeah.
You know, like you said, like old. You know, most of the people in the city are probably younger now.
Yeah.
So it's probably everyone. I mean, Tom's God there.
Yeah.
And Brady pulls out, it don't matter if it's KG, Paul Pierce, whoever, like, nah.
And Gronk low key, dude.
Yeah, Gronk, yeah.
I remember we were young, and Gronk just balled. Like he was starting to become Gronk, and we were out at a Sox game or something, and the people saw him get in the car, and they were like, it was like they swarmed the car, and they were shaking the car for Gronk. Gronk gets out of the sunroof. Everyone's going crazy. People are throwing bras, shirt. I mean, Gronk's like a rock star.
Yeah.
Gronk is an absolute rock star.
So let's talk a little basketball. Some news that broke recently is that, I don't know if you saw this, that Kyrie is trying to recruit
I saw that.
LeBron to the Mavs. So I want to ask you first, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think that's a good move for Bron, or is that just smoke and mirrors?
I mean, those taxes are nice in Dallas.
Ooh,
Those taxes are nice in Dallas.
Okay.
And he's a Dallas Cowboys fan. No? What do you think?
Multiple team fan.
Huh?
Yeah, he does love
I mean, Cowboys, Browns,
like I wrote on my Instagram, I said, because of the colors, you know, blue, green, looking like a peacock. That's not legacy worth.
I think of NBA Jams when Jason Kidd was on there.
Yeah, that color, but that's what I said. It's that peacock color.
Yeah.
Like, ew, it's disgusting.
But to tell you save the bread.
And you don't become stars.
I mean, he's already a star.
No, you don't. Like top 5, top 10 is colorways.
Okay.
Gold, man purple. Right?
Red and black.
Yeah, red, black, and white, you know what I mean? Or black or gray, you know?
The green and white Celts.
Now we're moving them out. You know?
Moving them out?
Yeah, you know, Bird and what's the name? They're like 9 and 10. They're 9 and 10, so that means Curry gets in. You know, so that one more person, Green is out.
I get it. Hey, I think, I mean,
Dallas, no. His kids just go to USC? No.
You're not dipping.
Yeah, but he's rich, bro. He can take helicopters and planes and come see him. Like,
Yeah,
it doesn't really matter.
Bronny does live on his own, low key.
Yeah.
Low key, Bronny is like his own entity. That's the funny part, bro. Bronny, like, they live in Beverly Hills. Bronny lives in Porter Ranch.
He like Little Romeo back then. He had his own crib.
His own crib.
Now, is the younger LeBron? I heard he's like really good too.
Bryce.
Yeah, Bryce. He's taller, has the same, like, so he's more, it seems like he's built more like Bron.
Does he have it though? The one thing I always got worried about, when or not worried about, but I remember I grew up playing against a lot of 49er kids. Mm-hmm. I was in the Bay Area. And I feel, it was always like, I was a kid who would look at that kid and I wanted to do everything I can to take him down because his dad had blood. His dad was in the league and you know what I mean? So I wonder if they deal with that,
No.
Because you gotta have, like, and it always felt like to me, at least were the guys where I was at, the guys that were sons of greats or sons of guys that were in the league, they didn't have the hunger. If they fell, they hit pillows. They didn't hit rocks like their pops or like I did. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's the one thing you always wonder.
That's our age group.
Yeah.
Now, if you notice, there's a lot of NBA players, sons playing now, because what happens is the money actually plays a big factor. Because even my son don't have the hunger, I can just get him a trainer and he can start training, and then when the hunger kicks in, he has all of this work ethic that was put in.
Resources.
Yeah, so what ends up happening is like Bronny probably 8th, 9th, he was just doing it for fun. But once he got to like his 10th, 11th, and 12th year, he became a workaholic.
Yeah.
Usually, once that kicks in,
good things
if
happen.
they haven't been training, they're late bloomers, doesn't play well. So like the stats and all those kids is like, getting them to that, just like you're gonna have a trainer, and then eventually just keep going. So he's not just sitting around playing video games for the last, until he's 14, right? Where everyone is just sitting there hungry, and then when they go out there and play, this kid is destroying them. Like, I'm good. I don't want to play this sport anymore. So
but your generation of dads too also be in their kids' lives,
true.
More the older, older generation, they were getting it.
We're bringing them to the gym, like Melo, right? As much as Melo hasn't been in the league and everybody's, why he's out of the league? For his son, I'm pretty sure he's happy. Yeah. Because now, like, you seen his son in the last year, a whole different player.
Yeah.
Like, at first you're like, Now he has the Melo game. You can see it. Like, the steps to hurry up, pull up. And it's like, okay, Melo's been working with him.
What's up with this French guy?
Wemby?
Yeah. Is he going to be the truth?
I think on paper, yeah, but the problem you run into with a dude that tall, right? You look like a Yao Ming and other people, just
feet.
Yeah, any type of injury is going to be magnified tenfold compared to a guy Gil's height or my height or whatever it may be. So if he's healthy and he stays healthy for his career, I think he's got a pretty
which is going to be
his height is high.
Hard. Height is height, right?
Tall. This height.
Well, I mean, he's never going to. I'm not going to say he's never going to live up to the hype, but it's not like he's going to ever be behind Michael Jordan and.
You don't think he never get to that level?
No. Michael Jordan, LeBron?
Kareem?
Yeah, well, Kareem got beat out in the 80s. The 85, 87, 90, Michael Jordan already had that, right? It's once Michael Jordan came along, he put it was the gold standard.
Thing is, he's got that KD skinny. So those guys are wiry.
Yeah.
He's not like Zion where he's holding a lot of weight, where, you look at a guy like that and like, man, that's a lot of weight falling down on ankles and stuff.
Yeah, it's weird. I think he'd be like with Zion. I knew that was going to be a problem. Yeah. One, it was too much weight flying up and coming down.
Broke a shoe,
right? So it was like I don't see how that's going to last unless he just lose a ton of weight, which means he's going to lose a lot of power. Wemby, it's his ankle. It's like AD, right? When he's playing, he's probably going to be great, but it's like. Those one of the ankle injuries and toes and shit like that on a player like that. It's like hit and miss.
No,
I'll bet for
the miss.
No, I'll bet for the greater. Like,
who's gonna be the next guy? We don't know yet.
Like superstar.
I want to know the next LeBron Jordan. So it's not Frenchie.
Maybe Ja, if he can get his shit right. But
I mean, Ja has the star power. Like, he has the charisma. But they will not let him go past Kobe. He can probably get to the Kobe level because he has the game. He has the floor mannerisms. The kids love him. The dancing, the personality. He has the look. So he has the attributes to be a star.
Yeah. He's got to stay out of his own way.
Yeah. Like, I'm pretty sure. To be honest, I'm pretty sure the NBA is going to be talking to moving him to a bigger city, Boston, Chicago. Like, if he goes to Boston or Chicago, he's a mega star.
I don't know. There's crazy gun laws there.
That's not good. Hopefully that gets him out of the, it gets out of his system. But those are, it's like, someone has to fill. You have to have Boston. Someone has to fill Chicago and Lakers in the next 3-4 years.
I'm super excited to announce our new sponsor, Oakley. Now, Oakley's been near and dear to my heart since I was in the 7th grade. I used to save up money to go to the mall to buy a fresh new pair to stun on all my haters. Oakley is changing the game, and it's time to discover a whole new world of possibilities. Plus, they have the coolest athletes in the game wearing their sunglasses, like Lamar Jackson, Justin Jefferson, and Mbappe, for all my soccer enthusiasts. Here on this show, we're all about look good, play good, and that's why Oakley is the perfect partner for us. We don't leave our house in the morning without our Oakleys. When you wear Oakleys, there really is more than meets the eye. Don't trust me? Try for yourself. Now, I've worn a lot of sunglasses in my time, and I can assure you that Oakley is not only the best looking, but the best quality out there. Oakley even offers prism lens technology. Now, what the hell is that, you ask? It's a proprietary technology of Oakley and available for everyday settings as well. Want to know more? Look, I already know you do. So head over to Oakley.com and do your own research, but you might as well just take my word for it. And while you're there, be sure to get yourself a pair of everyday glasses that'll be sure to change your look for the better. What's up, everybody? We got a new segment that we're testing out called Throwing Shade, presented by Oakley, because when you wear Oakley, there really is more than meets the eye. Good, I see you rocking out right now, Ono.
Yes, sir.
Stunner. Mm-hmm. Wear your stunner shades during the day. So, Gil, news came out today that Kyrie, who's going to be a free agent and is not necessarily going to be on the Mavs, was trying to recruit LeBron, who's got another year on his contract before his player option, to the Mavs. Some people are saying that LeBron's camp leaked this story. I don't know for sure. LeBron's a reasonable man. I don't think he did it. That's just me. But what do you think about the people that are throwing shade at LeBron for this story leaking? Do you agree with them, or do you think that LeBron is minding his business and news is just getting broken?
LeBron is minding his business. Nobody wants to wear green and blue. Right? There's an Aquaman. What colors is that? No one. No, come on, these are great, man. Purple and gold, red, black, and white. We already know the two jerseys you need to be considered. Yeah, agreed.
I'm quite fond of purple and gold as well. Just flows better, really distinguished. Looks like a championship level squad. But if you're Luka in this situation, how do you feel about this report breaking? Because another report broke that literally the Lakers would only consider making this move or allowing it to happen if they got Luka in return. And the Mavs have been pretty firm that they're not giving up Luka. So
Luka probably did one of these. No, that's serious. Like, Luka's probably like, I just think it's just one of those things where you're just trying to create buzz. Free agency is probably an excuse for Kyrie to want to leave. Oh, LeBron didn't want to come here, so I'm gonna go there.
That's what I was hoping for. It seems like Kyrie's gonna be a free agent. The Lakers could potentially make some moves to clear up enough cap space to be able to bring Kyrie in. Maybe not give him the full bag he wants, but we can get him close, and then we can do some stuff, as you know. Get him a Space Jam 3 cameo.
Facts.
Uncle Drew 2.
Uncle Drew 2 and 3, guaranteed,
I'll put up 15 to go see it at my local AMC theater. So you disagree with the people that are throwing shade at LeBron for this situation?
He's a Laker. His kids go to USC. His other son just decided to go to, Campbell Hall?
Yeah.
Right, so he has no plans on leaving Los Angeles, especially for no Dallas Mavericks.
So if you were LeBron, what team would be good enough to entice you to potentially want to go somewhere? Or are you staying with the Lakers and it is what it is?
Los Angeles Lakers.
Okay.
Purple and gold.
And do you think LeBron's trying to force the Lakers' hand now, say y'all need to get some moves made, re-sign Austin Reeves, re-sign Rui, get some more bodies in here? Year 21.
Is this who?
Austin Reeves. Rui Hachimura. You put the shades for Austin Reed, Team
Listen, I
USA?
think that's why. See, shit like that is why LeBron James is probably putting out that Kyrie's trying to get him over there in Dallas because you say those two names again.
Austin Reed, Team USA.
Say it again.
The top player mentioned for the Team USA team.
Say it again.
Austin Reed and Rui Hachimura.
Okay, there we go. All right. That's why. That's right. Names like that. Right? This is Los Angeles Lakers. We're trying to win championships. We need star-studded people for our star-studded crowd. Okay? Have y'all noticed that this came out right after Miami won? Like, we got swept, right? We got swept, and we knew people was gonna be talking about that shit. So, boom! Ha! We need to divert that slander.
And we still don't even know if LeBron's coming back. He very well may be retiring. I think that's the most important story from this postseason. Not what happened to the Lakers, losing to the Nuggets in the least amount of games required to lose a series.
Everybody is tradable, but LeBron. LeBron is staying, everybody else can go.
Okay.
All right? Memphis, we can come get Ja. We give you all these pieces over here. Come get Ja Morant, we're good.
Change the scenery, I think would be very beneficial to Ja. No better team I could think of. You got a coach who knows the dangers of gun violence in Darvin Ham. You got a superstar veteran leader in LeBron.
Teach you how to move. Mm-hmm. And you can take you can be the front. You can take the heavy load.
That's
very good.
This has been Throwing Shade, presented by Oakley. Let's talk a little football, man. Obviously, you just stopped playing a few years ago, but the NFL announced recently that they're going to be doing Thursday night flex schedule. It means they can take a Sunday game, move it to Thursday night. The NFL has been adamant. They got the new kickoff rules and all that stuff with the fair catch. But it seems like they talk about player safety, but just what's your experience like for those of us who don't know, having to play a game on Sunday and then having to turn around with 3 days, 4 days later, have to play a game Thursday night?
Yeah. So it's tough. My former teammate Matthew Slater was really hard on that whole subject, saying that we talk about player safety, and we're playing 2 games in 10 days, and we're flexing Thursday night games, and it's very tough for the athlete, for the younger guy mentally. It's tough because you're not going to get a week of practice in. For the older guys, it's tough physically because you got to get your car going for that week's race. And, it's kind of a bullshit rule that they put in with the whole fair catch thing because it's like a scapegoat. We talk about player safety, but we don't have mandatory grass, which is absolute bullshit. Guys are tearing their shit, feet, ankles, knees, non-contact all the time because of these turfs. And, we haven't changed that. And we want to add another game, which... I'm sorry to be the burden of bad news, but the thing that makes football more unsafe than anything is more football. Mm-hmm. The game's just 100% injury rate. That's just what it is. I mean, you have 11 guys trying to kill one guy with the ball. I mean, that's what's going to happen. So I think it's ridiculous that they're doing that because, when you're playing a Sunday game and then they're going to flex a Thursday night game and make you play on a Thursday. You're already we're creatures of habit. Mm-hmm. If you know preseason that you have, that Thursday night game, you predicate everything for those 2 weeks, like that schedule and everything. It's a tough assignment to go by. And if they're going to do that, it's ridiculous.
And you talked a little bit about the grass versus turf angle. So look, me as a fan at home, I'm watching. Turf looks nice. Like I'm thinking about even getting turf at the crib. Like it just looks nice. Don't gotta water it. But as a football player, what's the major differences between playing on grass and playing on turf?
Well, it's just with turf, there's nowhere for the energy to diffuse. Just go. You know what I mean? So when you cut, everything's going straight to knee, ankle. Yep. Which when you're a younger player, it's awesome because you can cheat a cut. You can cut off your inside foot and still make the cut. With grass, you'll slip. Yeah. But there's no give, and I remember, when you get to about 27, 28, you go out and you have to practice on a turf field, your back locks up, your knees get hurt for the next 3 days, your ankles are sore for 3 days. It's just, there's nowhere for the energy to go but through your body. And you know, these are full grown men that are cutting on this. I mean, it's kind of like playing on the hard,
yeah.
you know, on the hard,
Yeah.
you know, on whatever, hard court.
And they won't take that in consideration of changing it?
You know, it's crazy, you know, like our stadiums, whenever there's an international soccer game, and if you have a turf stadium, they'll bring in grass for the international teams to play because they have a rule for their players that they have to play on grass. But we can't do it for our league and our, you know, our investment in players.
What is the purpose? Like, I know it's low maintenance, but
Low maintenance.
If you have a dome, then you can really control like what the.
Well, it's money. I mean, you put a turf field in, that's $1.5 million for the year. You know, you have grass, you got to water it, you got to upkeep it, you got to redo it. There's a lot of maintenance. You have to have a field crew that's always on it. Like, there's a lot more money. I mean, we're counting pennies when it comes to what they're actually making. And you would think that the league would want to, you know, protect their investment in the player. You know, the horses that race in the horse, you gotta take care of the horse.
Yeah, you lose more money if certain players are going down. So
without a doubt. So, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I tore my ACL on a shitty turf in Detroit, which, you know, it was absolutely ridiculous. And then, you know, broke my foot on a shitty turf field in New York. Like, I mean, this is a multi-billion-dollar corporation. We can't get grass. You know, even if it's the statistics, I mean, they're a lot worse on turf, but even if you're helping the mental towards your player, wouldn't you rather have that instead of having guys? Because I remember pregame, you know, you go out and check the surfaces, you see these uneven turf fields and like the tracks, if they're sticky, if they're not sticky, like it's bullshit.
There's not been a vote?
Dude.
Dude, I mean, like, I'm sure there should be like, that. If we're gonna vote for this, every player's gonna vote which you want to play on, and then hey, Roger Goodell, here you go, fix it. It is at this point, it's just
He'll hit y'all with the.
so we're gonna see you at the park.
A vote.
A vote is like a vote.
You want your check? Get your ass out
Listen,
of the
I remember when the NBA tried to change the ball, right?
Yeah.
Right.
What did they try to change it to?
It was some synthetic ball. No, that shit was amazing, bro. Not even gonna lie, that shit.
You
was
like the ball?
Yeah. Like, okay, if you have big hands, right? You can just like, so instead of doing this, you just palm it. So I used to just palm it while I'm dribbling, right? And just, because the ref was always looking for this right here. So I'm just palming, so when I go in the lane, just be holding it and shit, and then bouncing it. But it because of the grip, and when it got sweaty, you didn't have to worry about slipping.
Okay.
So what ended up happening is this. Kobe was pissed because Kobe was about organic, right? If Jordan didn't break no rules with this ball, that I don't want it. I want the ball, all the legends playing. You're not gonna change that shit on my account. So that was his complaint. Had nothing to do with the actual physical. Steve Nash, same thing. It was all about what the original guys played in that they're chasing. We don't want no advantage, right? So they started making up shit. Oh, it's like cutting my hand, right? It's cutting my fingers, all the passing I'm doing. Like, every ball does it. You keep passing it over and over, it's gonna just end up ripping it. So they were just using that as the excuse. I was cutting my hand and they got rid of it.
I wonder what PETA thinks about those two. You know, I don't know.
But that ball was like, it was a shooter's ball. So like when it hit contact with the rim, it kind of like stuck around.
See, I like, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably put magnets in there. That's
Yeah,
what
so so like the other one, like that leather, that has slipped right off and.
See, I love that. You hear the inside, like I never knew that about a ball, you know, but it's like the cleats and the surface for football, like all the fields are different when you get the inside perspective of guys that play it. You guys actually feel that. You could.
So you talked about earlier, you know, playing against, you know, 49ers sons, but obviously I saw an interesting story about you. You used to date Jerry Rice's daughter. When you were coming up, you guys were childhood friends, went to prom together. So dads can be extremely protective, obviously, of their daughter. So I want to know, what was your relationship like with Jerry Rice growing up? Did he f with you at all? Was he like, he just,
Terrified.
Yeah, he knocked you down.
Terrified. I remember the first time I went over, Jerry came out, had his chain on, no shirt, six packed up, and just gave me a head nod. And that was like the last time we talked for like 2 years. It was tough. It was scary.
And what Jerry was that? Was the Jerry with like the Floyd Mayweather Senior braids? What Jerry was that in his stage of his career?
He was starting to get those. He was starting to get those. You know, this was
the Mayweather Senior Jerry.
late 90s. Yeah, they were starting to creep. They were starting to creep where they were, you know, getting back there. But you know, it was all. I was terrified, and I have a little girl now, so I understand. You know, so you get it. Little punk little kid coming into the house, thinking he's dating a daughter and stuff. But I'll tell you one thing. When Jerry wasn't there, I was putting on his Super Bowl rings and everything.
Yeah, let's try this spiel.
I'm going to that office. Damn, look at this thing. Oh, look at these gloves. No, but you know, the family was awesome. They were all cool, and you know, still friends to this day. And then when I got to, you know, it was crazy. When I got to the league afterwards, we developed a relationship, and he became cool. You know, I see him at the Derby here and there. Once see him out and about, and he's been real cool as of late. But when we were kids, you know, I fully get it. I get it, Jerry. You know, the daughter. But it was. I'm still a little nervous talking about it. You know, it's Jerry Rice. He's a goat.
You were right behind him in
playoff catches and yards.
Well,
now that's something to think about. The kid that's dating my daughter it's
creeping on my record.
just like, you know what I mean? Like that is.
And the crazy thing is, I mean, his records are insane.
Yeah.
If you just go down the list, that dude, the consistency that he put into the game, the length that he played at a skill position, you know, I don't think it could be beat now because of the game and it's changed with all, you know, how much we pass now. But I mean, it's pretty gnarly to just go down the stat list and see all his records.
Do you ever want? I do that when I look at like Jordan stuff, right? You look at all the technology, everything we're doing now for protecting, the players, and then you look back and you say, with less protection, how is these guys playing so long?
Yeah,
they're never missing games. Like Jordan is like out of his 15 years, 11 games, played 82 games. And then, 1 year, 81, 2 of those years, 80. And it's like, wait, how did you do this? Right? And it just makes me think like, what are we missing that they were doing? Why do they have so much longevity versus what we have now?
I think they were taking tablespoons of cement. Just tough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now that you have information on load management and stuff, then it's almost like a crutch. It almost works against you.
Yeah,
back then they didn't know. They're just like, I'm hurt, but whatever. Let's go out and put the sneaks on and play. It's very similar to football. I mean, you look at a guy like Derek Brooks, played middle linebacker for like 15 years, didn't miss a game. London Fletcher didn't miss a game at middle linebacker. These guys that play like that. I mean, that's lucky. There's got to be some luck in there, but these guys are also built different. And it could be because they probably hit more, so then they calcified their body. Now we barely hit, so now because of the practice rules, because of the lack of hitting in training camp, you only get one padded practice a week. Like these things are starting to see butterfly effects on. In the game, now a guy gets hit, now he's hurt, or, so there's so many things that jump into that. I remember probably the first 5 years of my career, we were still it was still kind of Neanderthal-y, getting laid out over the middle, like ball won't even be near you. Ed Reed, take your head off, chin strap's gone. Now you breathe on a guy and you get a flag. And I remember looking back on, the last 3 years of my career, I'm like, man, I had probably 15 to 20 catches that I would have been depleted on in the early years. You know what I mean? I wouldn't have had these catches. I'd probably be in the hospital, in the concussion protocol. The game's just changed. And I'm sure it's changed in basketball as well, with the hand checks and all that stuff.
It changed more for the offense.
Offense sells, baby.
Yeah, changed more for the offense.
Defense wins championships.
Debatable.
Best defense, a good offense.
Yeah, I gotta.
So let's talk about your career a little bit. I mean, solid regular season player, but you were talking about Jimmy Butler earlier. It's almost like when those playoffs started, that's when you locked in and that's when you were ready to make your name and do your thing. So what was it about playing in just those high pressure situations that brought the best out of you?
I think a lot of it had to do with, the team that I played for, like practicing. We practiced our tail off, and Belichick would make the situation so hard in practice that, like, when it came to game day, like, it was like, all right, you knew the answer to the test, now you just got to go do it, and you do it again. And having a guy like Tom Brady who made you accountable, like, made you work hard, you had to earn his trust every day. Like, every practice was like a mini game, like, mentally. Mm-hmm. Like, if you had a bad practice, I could f up my whole night, and like then I would wait till the next day for that next practice. And I think that's ultimately what it came down to, is just being able to go out and prepare myself to the best of my ability. And when the lights were shining bright, that's when you want to play your best.
I was.
And also, like, the regular season, like, people want to get on regular season numbers. Like, we were blowing teams out, so we weren't even throwing the ball in the second half.
No.
You know what I mean? We were running the ball, so I was blocking a bunch.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. And when you get to the playoffs, you're going to do what your team does best. And a lot of times we wouldn't even run certain plays because we didn't want to put it in the tendency reports for the other teams, or we're trying to set up something for the tendency. Like, there's so many different kind of like strategic battles that we were doing, as a team. So then, once it came to playoffs, then we put our best shit out there.
And I remember that story, Belichick talking to Ed Reed, and Ed Reed knew Peyton Manning was watching the play, so he ran the wrong defense just to with Peyton Manning. And then when they played Peyton thought he was wide open, came in and picked it. But just like the mind games and the mental side of it.
Whenever we would play Ed Reed or like Troy Polamalu, those two guys specifically, I remember just being in our offensive meeting, and like our offensive coordinator would be like, all right, well, you don't even look at him. Don't look at him, because he's not going to give you anything pre-snap. Like, he could be somewhere completely where you think it's cover 2, but it's cover 3. Like, those guys were in a league of their own where they knew how to manipulate where the ball would go, and they were so unpredictable. Like, it was just insane. Ed Reed was lying on the ground one time, I remember, like, literally like a lion lying on the ground. Like, Tom wasn't going to see him, or something popped up, jumped in the second half. I mean, those guys are studs.
Let's go back to 2009 now. You get drafted 7th round, and that's one of those things, late round picks, kind of not, sometimes you want to be able to still go where you want to go, right? But you get picked by the Patriots. You get the opportunity now to go play with Bill Belichick, play with Tom Brady. What emotions were going through your head when you heard your name drafted, knowing that you were going to be playing with one of the greatest franchises in NFL history?
Yeah, I was super excited, and like, just to get drafted. I was a quarterback in college. I just wanted to play in the league. I knew I wasn't going to play quarterback in the league, and just to get your name called, like, rad excited. I was a Niners fan growing up, so it was kind of like you were going to the Niners of this generation. But then, like, all of a sudden, a different thing kicked in, and you're like, well, there's 90 guys on the team. There's only going to be 53. We have Joey Galloway, Randy Moss, Wes Welker, Sam Aiken, special team. Like, then you start playing numbers game, like, oh, like, how am I going to make this team? And so then, then that anxiety and that anticipation came, and then you're in a whole different world. So you're like on cloud 9, and then all of a sudden you're like at the bottom of the ocean, like, oh, I got to swim to the top here.
What was that rookie training?
Wait. You said in the draft, you was going to be a quarterback in the NFL?
Yeah. They drafted me as an athlete. I was training as like an athlete.
What does that mean? Wait.
I'm 5'10", bro.
Wait. You've been a quarterback your whole life.
Yeah.
And then on the biggest stage, you're like, all right, athlete. Like, what the does that mean?
They drafted me as an athlete. They would work me out. Teams would come in and work me out as like a receiver or running back. The Pittsburgh Steelers came and worked me out as a DB. You know,
Let me say something you've never done before.
yeah.
You're going to the highest level and changing.
Yeah, I literally, because even you playing DB, having to guard Anquan Bolden and shit like that.
I'm just saying,
in my
like,
head is like, yo, what the,
I'm pretty sure Tom Brady can't catch or do a route running, right? I'm pretty sure he can't be a wide receiver. And someone's like, all right, wide receiver. And he was like, wait, what?
Yeah,
How does
but
that work?
You know, I was a running quarterback. I rushed for a bunch of yards when I was in college. Like, I was athletic.
Yeah, running back, but no one, like, you're not sitting there running routes and.
No.
So you had to learn?
I had to learn it all. Learn it on the fly. I linked up with Charlie Fry when I was training for my pro day. And he was a quarterback. He was a starting quarterback for the Browns for a while, and then he went to the Raiders. And he, you know, like that was a huge help for me. Like, I didn't even know how to run an out route. You know,
Yeah,
like it was tough.
And that shit is
So
wild.
wait, no, hold on. We have to start, hold on. NFL, there has to be a new ranking amongst players now. Because if you're coming into the NFL and you're not the position that someone did their whole life, and you're second behind them in receiving yards, there has to be another type of category. You
In the
can't be
playoffs.
yeah, but it's still, you can't be number one if you've been to receive your whole life and he just started like 30 years, 10. Like, they can't do those.
I got to bring you to my daughter's birthday party to hype me up, bro.
No, that's
That's
different.
real shit, though.
That is like, I'm sorry. That is, you can't tell me like you learned how to be a receiver training for the draft and then you're top, like, that's wow. That's embarrassing for receivers who's been doing it their whole life. I'll be mad. I'm sorry. I'll be mad.
There's a couple guys that did it, you know, but as a quarterback, like, it helped me for like coverage recognition. Like, my strengths as a receiver were because probably I was a quarterback. Like, I could see pre-snap what it was going to be, then I could manipulate what I was going to run, and then post-snap, if they went to something else, I was still able to adjust on the fly because of being a quarterback, you know. And then, you know, I always had, you know, quickness, so, you know, I was able to create separation. But it was very tough the first 2-3 years, you know, learning how to run routes. You know, it's like dancing. You know, white people don't have much rhythm, so it was very tough.
There's exceptions though, and anomalies. And you're definitely one of them. But even let's talk a little bit about even you having to switch to cornerback, playing DB.
Yeah.
In the AFC Championship game. You know what I mean? Like, I went back and watched that tape, you know, last night, and just still, and I was working at NFL Network at this point, like, still just like amazed, because not knowing your background then, like 2011, I think the game was played in 12, right? But like having to guard a guy like Anquan Bolden, like you're matched up with him. Like, what's going through your mind leading up to that week? Like, what's that conversation like? You're like, yo,
You want to hear how this went down? So they put me in like 3 weeks before against the Jets, and like leading into that week's game, we had team meeting. We'd have like a 45-minute team meeting every day about the keys of the week, what we needed to work on, and what we needed to go into that week. And at the end of the meeting, Josh Boyer, he was the DB coach. He goes, "Hey, you're going to be in our meeting." I'm like, "What do you mean? I'm going to be in your meeting?" He's like, "Yeah, we're a little banged up here at Nichols, so we're gonna put you in on DB." And I got excited. I was like, I wasn't playing a lot at receiver by that time. You know, I was more of making myself valuable to the team by playing, you know, a lot of special teams, having packages on offense. And so, you know, I went into that meeting and just tried to use everything that I knew as a receiver against, you know, the DBs. And I honestly think it made me a better receiver sitting in on DBs meetings, because then you kind of got to see what they were going to do to you at the line of scrimmage, what they were teaching the guys, you know, in the middle of like a stem of a route and all these things and leverages. So like it ended up helping me. But, you know, I kind of just, as a receiver, I would cheat somewhat because I would study the concepts of what the teams would do on like certain situational plays. I would go in a lot on third down. So I would kind of like just look at like impact players, what their impact routes were, and then kind of just hold on for dear life. But it was tough, man. Especially going against a guy like Anquan Bolden, who, you know, he was like short, but he was really strong in his route, so he could bump you off, and like it was tough.
Yeah. Seems like he's one of those type of guys, probably like yourself, that took pride in knocking the shit out of defensive players when he had the opportunity.
Hey, they're gonna hit you. You might as well hit them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was fun.
Gil, I just signed up for Rocket Money, and I'm already saving some big money after discovering several paid subscriptions I completely forgot about.
I couldn't believe when I heard the average American spends nearly $200 a month on subscriptions.
If you don't know exactly how much you're spending every month, you need Rocket Money.
Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills, all in one place.
Over 3 million people have used Rocket Money, saving the average person up to $720 a year.
Stop throwing your money away, cancel unwanted subscriptions, and manage your expenses the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/no-chill. That's rocketmoney.com/no-chill.
Cha-ching!
Let's talk a little bit about Bill Belichick. I think for the outside world, the media, we see him as kind of surly, short, quick-tempered. But what was he like when the cameras weren't around for you guys as players?
Yeah, it depended on who you were. you know what I mean? Like, Bill's really good at being able to manage guys and give them what they needed to succeed. So, like, if you were a guy like me, like, I needed to be roughed up. I needed to be yelled at. Mm-hmm. Like, that made me perform. That made me get mad and perform at my best. Like other guys, if they needed to be loved up, like, he would crack a joke or something like that. If you were a star, he'd let you do what you did if you were performing on the field. Like, he ultimately doesn't care about anything but production and performance. So whatever you had to do to get in there and go out and perform, that's what he would do. But he was a fun guy, somewhat. I mean, he was somewhat, yeah. Like, if things were going well, he would cut you down. If the team needed to be brought up because we had a bad loss or something, like, he knew how to bring you kind of up. He challenged people. And he would crack a joke here and there. His jokes were like dry jokes, and
like then dad jokes,
full dad jokes, and no one knew if you could laugh.
Yeah, like, do you feel like you had to laugh?
Everyone's looking at each other like,
you didn't know. Like, and then you heard a couple of the big dogs, they would laugh, but like, you still didn't know if you could laugh because you weren't a big dog yet. So, like, it was fun, man. I enjoyed it, and he gets a bad rap, but Coach, he's got a little personality. If you get to know
what's
him.
funny is when you think about greatness, right? When you think about it from the outside, no one ever likes greatness.
No.
Because it's not appealing to, it's not friendly. Greatness is not friendly, right?
Yeah.
Someone who has dedicated their life to win, to be great, there's nothing to smile about besides winning, right? They understand that, I'm sacrificing, I'm doing all of this for this much of success, but when I get it, it tastes great, and I'm not sharing the shit with you, right? So, when you think about the Belichick's or Tom Brady, there's a certain type of personality that comes with it, and it's not gonna be love.
Yeah, I mean, he's seen so much football that, like, he knows the situations, like, throughout everything. It sounds weird, but, like, he knows that a big win in September doesn't mean dog shit. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because you still have so much that you're trying to do that year, or like a big loss in November. Like, how do we recover from that? Like, all right, now we got to get back, so that he's seen so many different situations. The guy's been in the league since 1975, literally. That's crazy, with the Baltimore Colts. So, and he's called plays on all sides of the ball. He was a special teams coordinator. He's called offense. He's called defense. So he knows the game inside and out. And so it's one thing, when I remember, like, one time we were doing shitty on kickoff, and the display of a great leader, I was amazed. He literally came in the meeting and he took the remote from the special teams coordinator. He's like, watch out, get out of here. And he went player for player on kickoff and kickoff return, what they had to do. You're going to hairpin here. You're going to go right here. You're going to, and when you see her, and we went and returned a kick for a touchdown the next week. Like, and we were doing dog shit before that. Like when you see your leader go in and be able to do something like that on something that, you know, he's not really doing, like that's when you're like, okay, this is badass. You know what I mean?
Also, he doesn't, football, he doesn't control all of it?
He does control all of it, but you know, you don't micromanage. Like, he's not going to come into the offense and, you know, run the offensive meeting. The offensive coordinator is going to run the offensive meeting. The defensive, like you break up into offense, defense, those coaches will run those meetings, what you have to do. He'll oversee everything. And then, you know, special teams has a coordinator, then they go in and they run that meeting. And then, you know, then you break up into each individual position and those coaches break down those plays and so everyone, there's like a chain of command, you know, but he can come in and run everything. And that's not a lot of head coaches can do that. You know, like there's like you always see, like there's an offensive minded head coach, there's a defensive minded head coach, which he's a defensive minded coach, but you know, he could go in and he could coach, you know, every play up, which you don't see that very often.
So now let's talk a little bit about, you know, your leader on the field, Tom Brady. What did Tom teach you just about being great in terms of preparation, all the other things that go into it, life on the field, off the field, and just all those things?
He taught, you know, like he let me into his circle, which was crazy. And you know, he showed me ultimately how to be a professional on the field, off the field. And I would say like the number one thing that I learned from him was the ability to compartmentalize. I mean, like there could be shit going on off the field, on the field, within the team. And this guy was able to just block everything out and perform like it was practice always. Like the ability to do that. Like, I mean, his mom had cancer during one of our Super Bowls. Like no one really knew but him. And I knew because he told me, but like he's big, he's a very big family guy and he was able to go out and have his best performance. You know what I mean? Like that's the kind of guy he was and he is. You know, that the ability to just like block everything out and just have tunnel vision on what he's trying to do, it was, you know, what I learned from him and how to be a pro, how to prepare, how to take care of your body, you know, how to be a family man. I mean, how to handle your family with, you know, football. You know, it's different when you're a professional athlete, being there, being, you know, involved in everything. Like I learned how to be a professional from Tom Brady.
And obviously he's a very intense guy. Was he ever too intense for you, or did you kind of always just get along with each other?
Yeah, no, so Tom would yell at me because he couldn't yell at everyone. Because, you know, I mean, by the time, you know, I'm in my 5th, 6th year, I mean, there's guys that have watched Tom Brady. I mean, he was already in like his 18th year, his 17th year. You know what I mean? So like a young player comes in, and if Tom Brady yells at them, they shit their pants and, you know, they won't go perform. So like he would like yell at me because I could take it. You know, I would yell a little bit back at him, you know, but because we developed that. But like, you know, that's just how it was. You know, he was very intense on me. He was very hard on me. And, you know, but I liked it. You know, I needed that to make myself better. So he was very intense. You know, if something was wrong, he was going to let you know. And it wouldn't be like some sunshine rainbow, like, hey, bud, you could do like this. And I'd be like, hey, Joel, get the over there. You know, like, you know, so he demands perfection. And that's how, you know, the greats are.
So y'all got a real strong relationship. Saw recently that y'all got together for a beach football game. So I want to know, how does that type of situation go down? Is it a group chat? Like what are the factors in place when it's like, yo, y'all want to go play some beach football and everybody just pulls up?
A group chat with Brady? Yeah, right.
Yeah. He's not green bubble on the group chat?
Like one of his 17 assistants hit us all up, said, you guys are coming here. Here's your plane. Like he takes care of everything. But it's nothing like that. Like I think I talked to like the assistant number 42 or something, and we all went out there and celebrated his career and had a good time over at Baker's Bay at his little place. And boy, it was fun. What people don't realize, man, we were all dying after that. Like we were drinking and stuff, and you're playing beach football on the field, and like we're all competitors, so guys are going hard and shit. Guys are dying in between plays. You realize how out of shape you really are when you're not playing the game. Guys are like throwing up and stuff. It was fun, man. It was fun because we haven't been together, a lot of those guys, since we all left. I mean, him and Gronk went on to Tampa Bay, but Amendola was there. There's a bunch of other guys there, and we haven't been together since probably that 2016 Super Bowl. So it was fun.
So let's talk about that 2020 season. That was your final season in the NFL. Obviously, Tom announces he's going to Tampa Bay. So what was the mood like in the locker room after that situation happened for yourself, having to go out, kind of play this final NFL season without the guy you spent your whole career?
It was tough. It was definitely tough, but like in the league that we're in the profession that we're in, there's going to be coaches that go, there's going to be players that go. There's no same team ever, and once Tom Brady leaves, it's different. You're like, all right, we lost a guard. All right, we'll get someone else. And when Tom left, it's like, dude, like, especially as a receiver, you're dependent on someone. You're dependent. Like I don't have the ball in my hands always, so I obviously, you get motivated because you're like, that's the competitor. Like, we're going to go out and show him we're going to win more games than him. He goes and wins the Super Bowl. We didn't even make the playoffs. So, it was a
little salty at all.
Hell yeah.
All right, good. No,
but I was happy for him. He's one of my best friends. So,
but if you're watching the Bucs make that run to the Super Bowl, is any part of you like, all right, I mean, you get to the NFC Championship game, but then after that, like, shut it down?
I wanted to see him do well.
Okay.
I knew him. I know what he's about and what he was going through, throughout everything. And it was just, he wanted to do it and he did it, man. You can't, it's hard. That's crazy.
That's a big move. I mean, it's a big move.
That's a huge move. Yeah, First year out.
Yeah.
Bowl.
First time just like, I'm out.
I think Peyton Manning was the other quarterback to win too with different teams, but you look at Peyton Manning, that was the defense that did it.
Yeah.
Like I love Peyton. I love Peyton, but I'm an Eli guy.
For sure.
He's my favorite Manning, even though he knocked us out of the Super Bowl. Thanks, Eli.
So you're a quarterback coming out of college. You threw a couple passes here and there in the league. But you ever look around the league like at different teams like, yo, fuck, I could be a starting quarterback on that squad?
No.
Never?
No, dude.
You're a real one there.
Nah, dude. Like, if you're playing quarterback in the league, like I can't even make all the throws. Like against, like what's open in college and what's open in the NFL is completely different. When the guy's covered, he's open in the league. You just ball placement.
Yeah.
And I wasn't that accurate. I couldn't throw it like that. And all the guys that are playing and behind the center in the league, I mean, that's a tough position. It's not just knowing what you're doing. It's knowing what every guy in the offense is doing, every guy in the defense is doing, being able to communicate in the huddle, being able to go through your processing of what each play is while you're walking to the line. Like, that's a lot of responsibility. I don't think I could do that.
So even just fans, the worst quarterback is still him, in a sense.
They're them.
They're them.
They're not him.
Like when players be like, yo, this bum, I'll beat him. I'm like, he'll probably drop you for 60 in a pickup game.
In a pickup,
pickup game,
they'll throw the lights out, like without contact. I mean, that's the difference. Is when there's guys coming down your face. That didn't sound right. When there's, like with pressure and being able to decipher defense, like that's one thing, but all those guys can throw.
Yeah.
Like if you just saw him pick up a ball and just toss it, like that's easy for them. They all can do it.
Okay.
It's kind of like a pro basketball player. When anyone that says like they can go out and beat a pro basketball player, oh, this guy's a bum. Why is he even on the court? Well, he goes to any pickup game, he's gonna dominate anyone. You know what I mean?
Most of them.
Most of them. I don't know. I always say, just like no difference between high school, college, and NBA, right? 14-15 is 14-15, right? I've seen some guys get cooked in pickup games, and I'm like, bro, you're an NBA player and you're getting cooked at the YMCA league. Let it go.
Yeah, it's happening.
Yeah, let it go, bro.
It's happening.
Let it go.
Maybe it's
have some pride. Have some pride.
Gee.
So, last Brady question for you. I know you do a lot of these things. I know probably everybody bothers you about that shit, but Brady just became part owner of the Raiders. They got Jimmy G, got Josh McDaniels there, obviously your former offensive coordinator. But Jimmy G's foot, a little janky right now, had to have some surgery. Do you ever see a world where Tom Brady will come out of retirement and play one more season with the Raiders?
Probably not. No, probably not. Probably that's like 99%.
Okay.
No.
But
There's still the 1%. There's still 1%. I think he's done just because, he's moved on with the family. He's doing that whole thing of his life. And it's just, he's a practice guy, and I don't think he's doing it right now. And I don't think he would do it.
Okay.
It's especially the situation with the Raiders do they have the players to go out like that he would want to play with? It's not like a perfect formula for him to just come in. Like, do they have the offensive line? Do they have the defense? He ain't going into a situation where he don't think he can go win it.
So let's just throw a hypothetical out. Let's say he says that 1%, I'm going to do it, I'm coming back, but he hits you up like, look, need one last dance. What would he need to do to persuade you to come back for one more season?
About 7 M's. And about 30, maybe like 15 plays a game. That's all I got.
Okay, that's all you got?
That's all I got left.
That's all I got for him. A couple I'll give him third downs, red area targets. You get me on the, we're not doing it in between the 20s. Can't run.
Between the 20s?
Anything in between the 20s, unless it's third down, can't go.
Okay.
The shape's not there. It's crazy. Like, once you're out, even though I'm in good shape, it's not football shape, bro. And especially when you've taken years off, like that's not doable. They're only getting better.
Yeah.
These young guns, young, hungry bucks that just want to rip your face off every single play. I don't think I got it. I know. I'm gonna let you know. I don't think I got it, Coach.
That's real shit.
Maybe third down though.
Maybe third down.
That sounds like
Give me
practice.
a couple motions.
That sounds like practice when you get, hey, coach, I can give it to you in practice or the game. I'm not giving you both.
Yeah.
Which one do you want?
Give me a couple motions. I can't get out the line of scrimmage no more. These guys are longer. They're stronger.
So
it's crazy.
So you have some amazing plays throughout your career, some legendary plays. But I want to know, when you look back, what's the one play that you didn't make that still pisses you off to this day?
There was one play in 53 Super Bowl where we won. I ran like a bow route, and it was kind of like, the guy was on me, and I could have made a tough contested catch. It was a little behind me, Tom. You could put it in front of me a little better, but I wish I would have made that play, because I would have had like a perfect game then. And I've never had a perfect game.
Okay.
I was 10 for 11 targets that game, and I ended up getting the MVP of that game. But it would have been so much cooler if it would have been just that one more.
Like, so you just said, I won it. Okay, you won the game. Okay, so it's not that bad. Okay.
Yeah, but
you wanted the perfect game.
You never had a perfect game. I mean, whether it's a blocking assignment, a mental error, or something like that.
Which pass was it?
It was an out route. It was
which catch was it? Like number 7, number?
I think it was like, could have been anywhere from 8 to, wasn't the last one, so it was like 8 or 9.
Oh, okay. Ooh.
It would have been 11 for 11 targets for 11.
So, Gil, I know you get all your tickets for free, but for me, buying tickets can be extremely stressful. Like, you never want to get got right, especially in a city like LA with some janky ticket prices, all that good stuff. But that's why I'm on this new Gametime app. Gametime is the fast and easy way to buy tickets last minute for sports, music, comedy, or pretty much anything else you're trying to get cracking in the city that you live in.
Okay, that's great. I'm gonna download this app. What do you like about it?
Gil, you know what? That is a great question. What I like about Gametime, well, they got flash deals and last minute tickets, and they have the lowest price guaranteed. So you know what that means? If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, they will credit you 110% to your account. I don't need that 100%, I need that 110%. And they do it. Gil, Gametime is a place for last minute ticket deals, and it's the fastest growing ticketing app in the country. I bet you didn't know that.
I didn't.
Okay, now you do. Now you gotta get on it. I need you to go ahead and download the Gametime app, create an account. You can use code NOCHILL, and they will give you $20 off your first order. 20 whole dollars, Gil.
20 whole dollars.
That's a lot for you still. I know you big baller, but that 20 is key.
I'm not gonna lie.
And for all you at home, download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
And I already signed mine up.
Get that 20, let's go.
Yes, sir.
Let's go see Drake. So you talked about Super Bowl 53, you talk a little bit about Super Bowl 51, which I know obviously you're tired of hearing about as well, but because you're on the winning side, so I'm sure to relive those moments. But greatest comeback in NFL history. We're all watching the game. Y'all go down 28-3. You know, everybody thinks you guys are cooked. Obviously, you come back to get the win. But when you look at that game, like, what's your favorite memory or moment or point in that game when you knew, well, damn, we might actually win this shit?
I think it was Hightower's sack fumble. You know, like we were climbing the mountain. We dug a hole for ourselves in the first half, and then Hightower had a sack, and like, was it a sack fumble? Yeah, right, sack fumble. I should know that. I'm an analyst. And I was on the game. No, but once he hit that, then like there was like already 3 things that were happening that like were like, this is like Freaky Fridays type shit, you know what I mean? And like once that happened, we got the ball and we had an opportunity to tie it back up. Like that was like, oh, okay, this could happen. And then once we did that and got the 2-point conversion, like our second 2-point conversion, which 2-point conversions are crazy, like already, because you very rarely use them. And that actual week we put in 4 plays for 2-point conversions, which you only usually have like 2, which is crazy that we had 4 plays. And, you know, once we got that 2-pointer, like I'm like, we're winning this game. We're winning it.
And was there a point where you thought, damn, we're losing this shit, can't come in on 3?
Coming out of halftime.
No, I mean,
coming out of halftime, like I was rah-rah guy in the locker room. It's gonna be a hell of a story, boys. Let's go. Just put our shit back on. Let's go. And I drop a third down. I routed up Alfred and across the middle, and I dropped the ball. Then they went and scored. I'm like, oh. I started doing the math in my head. I'm like, it's 28-3. It's gonna be a tough one. That's when I was like,
28-3, you're still like,
I've been on some crazy shit though, man. Like, we were down like 2 touchdowns. We were down 2 scores with like 1:30 to go. I know it wasn't the Super Bowl against like Cleveland like a few years before where we won that game. We were down against Buffalo, 2 scores with like 45 seconds, won that, like miraculous type shit. So like, you never think it's over. You know,
it's like the
you got Tom Brady.
Yeah,
like,
like
you know
Golden
what I mean?
State Warriors were like, you know, down 15 with 4 minutes to go, and you're like, couple shots played, hit 2, I hit 2, 12, we're good.
Exactly. You know, you just never. And then also like teams, it's kind of like the Tiger effect. You know, when Tiger was in his prime, Tiger Woods, and like he would be on that back 9 down by a stroke, and guys would just kind of shit their pants because Tiger was in the water, you know, as they would say. Like, you felt teams would do that when they were playing against us. You know what I mean? Like they're like, oh, Patriot, they're not gonna, you know what I mean? So like, it was almost like teams would stop trying to win and they were trying not to lose.
No. Yep.
You know, and
That happens.
and that happens. It was
That's a big college basketball thing.
yeah.
They're up 20. They're up 20, and then now they're playing.
I felt like the Celtics did that when
Yeah.
they lost in Game 6,
Yeah,
or no, when they almost lost Game 6. Remember they were up like 12 points.
Yeah, I was watching. I did a breakdown on that. They were playing not to lose.
Yeah.
They were playing not to lose. Everything was like, all right, we're going to waste as much time as possible. Like, well, that's not how you got the lead.
Yeah.
And that's not how you got the lead. You got the lead making plays and scoring. Now that you're up, you're trying to like keep away and run it down, and that's not the rhythm.
That's a fine skill to have, though, man. Like, it's psychologically crazy, you know, when you're up a certain amount, and, you know, and you're trying, like, all right. I think that like coaches sometimes like they try to overanalyze shit a lot of the times, and like you said, do what you did to win. You're winning the game. Let's just keep it going. And they're like, well, statistically speaking, if we do this, like, nah, let's go, bro.
Yeah, I want you gotta. It's like that sportsman. Do you even have sportsmanlike conduct?
Yeah, unsportsmanlike conduct.
No. Sportsmanlike, like if you're up by a certain amount of touchdowns, you don't supposed to be running certain plays.
That no.
Oh, okay. I knew that only
Y'all
worked.
start running the ball.
I remember.
But the running back is still trying to score. He's like, I'm gonna run on the 1 yard line and just stop.
I mean, you're gonna get your
Let's-
stats. Like,
It depends on if it's a Rolex situation, where time's more important than points. So like when Chubb did it, I think like last year, 2 years ago, where remember he scored, and then they ended up losing because they got the ball. They could have ran the clock out. There is situational plays where it's smarter to do that kind of stuff. But if I remember once we were playing the Jets, and you know, everyone knows that Belichick doesn't like the Jets. I don't think I'm like announcing any news. I mean, the guy told him he wasn't going to be their coach on a napkin. That's how he. You know that, right? Yeah. And I remember one time we were playing them, and we were up probably like 23 points, and we threw a deep touchdown in the fourth, and like they got mad, and it was like, well, stop us then. You know what I mean? There ain't no. This isn't Pop Warner where you have to write a letter if you beat a team by 35. You know what I mean? This is a National Football League. If you got bucks too, let's go.
y'all got to do that in football too. Yeah, that shit was always wild.
Back
to me.
then,
The
writing a
letters-
letter while you beat him by 35.
Yeah.
Suck. Like, what you
Man,
think?
it suck.
Yeah.
So the thing about sports too is a lot of times athletes get institutionalized, right? You get used to that same routine, that same schedule. You look at a guy like Brady, like it's hard to let go of it. But looking at yourself, when did you know it was time to hang him up, and how difficult was it of a decision for you to retire?
I knew it was time when I couldn't practice the way I wanted to practice, when I was in practice, and you know, guys that should not have been even coming close to covering me in like one-on-ones. They were like kind of covering me. Like when then you turn the film on, you don't look the same.
No.
I had to swallow. That's when I couldn't do it. You can't.
You had
be
to see yourself.
I had to see it. I had to see it and feel it, and like it was such a grind to get through a week.
Yeah.
You know, like I was like more stressed about practice than I was the game, because I you know, going out and getting the reps in, and I needed to do the reps to make me feel prepared for the game, and I couldn't get my reps in. I was doing like 5 plays a practice, and then you know, I'd go hit the pool and run in the pool, and like once that became a thing, I was like, yeah, I can't do this. It was f***ing me up psychologically.
Was there a specific point where you're like, all right, this is it? Like, was there a point during the season? Was it after season? Like,
There's one-on-ones.
okay.
There's one one-on-one. I won't say the guy's name, but he kind of covered me, and I walked off that field, and I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm playing no more. Look at this guy. I love him to death, but like I'm like, nah.
Yeah.
If he's covering me, it's bad. It's bad for business.
That happens in the NBA too.
You know,
you just like you got Kevin Love right now, right?
Yeah.
If Kevin Love give you 20, retire. I'm just saying, come on. He's not going to play that much. He's not shooting that much. But if he gives you 20 at this point in your career, let it go.
You got to shut it down.
Just let it go. It's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, it's me.
Yeah.
It's me.
And I just, you also, like, I remember playing guys early in my career when they were in their prime. And then, fast forward 6 years, and then they were kind of out of their prime. And they were just stinky out there. Got the knee brace on, the ankle braces, looking like some old-ass basketball dude at the gym, you know what I mean? Can barely move. Like, too much blood in the water. I was trying to take those guys out, and so I had to.
Too much blood in the water. Like, yeah, I'm not gonna.
I can't do it. I've rubbed too many people the wrong way, especially on that field, talking way too much shit.
So last question for you. Obviously, Pro Football Hall of Fame, one of the toughest Hall of Fame to get into. There's been a ton of debate that based on your postseason career, what you were able to do, 3-time Super Bowl champ, Super Bowl MVP, you deserve a look. Like, do you view yourself as a Hall of Famer, or what do you think about when you look back at your career? Do you think it warrants some discussion to be in the Hall of Fame?
That's tough, man. Like, it's a tough club to be in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And those guys have all anyone who's in that club was the guy, was him, as they would say nowadays. So, I didn't answer the question, so.
No. What you do is you're like, listen, I came into this league as a quarterback.
I came into this league as a quarterback.
And I played as a receiver.
Where's
my fucking jacket? Where's my fucking jacket? Like,
You do it?
that's what I'm saying. Like, no, this is.
You can't receiver their whole life. They can't come into the league as a receiver and play with you. I'm not saying.
I've been playing as a. Come on, I did that.
We're gonna do it for you.
I get a curve. You should be able to get a curve.
A curve?
For changing positions at the pros.
Yeah.
Learning. That means, come on. It would
be nice.
That takes a different type of mentality to just switch and just become something different that someone's been doing
At the
their whole
fucking
life.
pro level, you know what I mean? Like
On the pro, not in college or 3 years into the league. It's like, we're drafting you for this. And you're like, oh, never caught a ball before, but okay.
It's kind of like Batman. Anyone that says they're Batman isn't Batman.
Okay. Well, what if we say you're Batman?
I didn't say it.
Listen. To do what you did and it wasn't your position I'm sorry. That's.
Well, I appreciate that, Gil.
That's real shit. Well, Julian, we appreciate you pulling up to the show, man.
No
Thank
problem,
you so
man.
much.
Thanks for having me.
This has been another episode of No Chill with Gilbert Arenas. We'll be back with more very soon.